A wonderful afternoon, everyone. First of all, with pleasure, in the name of the entire Kehillah, we want to wish a hearty Mazel Tov to Reb Hirsch on the birth of yet another Einikel, a girl, Shemizaycha, Leben Torah, L'chuppah, L'masim Tovim. But all of us, Mir Tashem. Also, my Shver was moved to the Concord today, and he's in room C33, if anyone wants to visit him there. C33. C33. We're dedicated by the Fisher family, L'nishmas Basi Bas Rabbi Shlomo ben Avraham Alevi Perel Bas Ruvain, L'nishmas Dav ben Chaim L'fu Shalem Fel Yomash Ben Chai Sar Yaakov ben Bas Yaleh, for the schus of Avraham Yom Benish ben Malk Yudis and family, by Yol Klugman and family, L'fu Shalem for Abigdai ben Rivka and the Bas Chai Sar Yitz ben Tzimmadusha Rivka Bas Shira Leah Shmu ben Yom ben Shira Leah Chana Bas Sheshabina Mashmei ben Esther Fadl Meir ben Chai Sar. They should have L'fu Shalem of B'Sek Shachar Yisrael. Again, in last week's parak, Reb Shimon Elazar, who was a contemporary of Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi, teaches us a lesson which, as is many of the lessons in Pirkay Avos, something that everyone knows, but when it comes down to it, it's very hard to do. And it's interesting. You would think, here you have a man who's one of the greatest, the great, and he says something and everybody says, duh. But he says that we have to, the time to work on something is before the Yetzer Hara comes. And to really, really work on it before the Yetzer Hara comes. Because once the Yetzer Hara comes, we're lost. So Reb Shimon Elazar Aimer, Al teratze es chavercha b'shas kasei. Don't try to calm someone down when they're angry. Now this advice you said something, and your wife is getting very angry. So you want to tell her, what are you getting so angry? You just did the same thing yesterday. So what are you getting so angry? You just did it yesterday, the same thing. As a matter of fact, that's why I did it, because I saw you did it, so. Don't try to reason with somebody when they're angry. It doesn't work. Rav Irving Bunim, I love the way he says it. He says that trying to reason with an angry person is like pressing down the gas pedal when the car is in park. It's not going to do anything. The car is in park. Somebody is angry, their brain is in park. You're not going to get anything, you're not going to accomplish anything with reasoning with that. Now, this lesson is so important that the Rebbeinu Shalom demonstrated it himself. See, there's certain things that are so important in life that Hashem himself demonstrates. There's a mitzvah of alachta b'drachav, to walk in his ways. So when a person visits the sick, besides doing v'hafta l'reach kamocha and gemilas chasadim, one fulfills the mitzvah of alachta b'drachav, because Hashem visited Abraham when he was sick. When we clothe the needy, it's v'alachta b'drachav, because Hashem clothed Adam and Chava. When we comfort the mourner, it's v'alachta b'drachav, because Hashem went and comforted Yitzchak when Avraham Avinu passed away. At the Chet Egel, when Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to plead the case for Klal Yisrael, the Rebbeinu Shalom says, Chavi ma'at rega ad yavor zam. Hide a moment until my anger passes. Now, of course, the Rebbeinu Shalom doesn't have any anger. But the Rebbeinu Shalom is demonstrating that when a person is angry, you don't try to reason with them. And it is an exercise of complete waste. Reb Shimon ben Elazar compares it to Al Tenachameya b'shoshem eisei muta lefana. As a Rav, I've watched people at the Levaya when the relatives are sitting right in front of the casket. They go over and say things like, you know, he was sick a long time. You don't comfort someone when the mace is sitting there. There are just certain things you don't do. Now, Reb Chaim Pelagi, he adds something. He says that when a person is angry, the Shechina leaves the person. Chaim Pelagi says, the Gemara says, Shloisha the Rebbeinu Shalom loves, and one is a person who controls himself and doesn't get angry. He says the converse is also true. That if a person gets angry, the Rebbeinu Shalom doesn't like it, and he leaves. And therefore he says, you're not going to have atzlacha with the person when the Shekhinah is not there. In therapy language, my wife is a therapist, so in therapy language, they call it, don't talk to a person when they're in emotion mind. When they're in emotion mind, you're not going to succeed. You're 100% right, and what they said doesn't make sense, and it's not fair, and maybe it was in front of the children, and all kinds of zaken. And we want to take care of it right away. There's an injustice, so we want to take care of it right. That's the gut reaction. The gut reaction is there was an injustice done, we have to take care of it. The Mishnah says it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. Al terata es ha'oda es chavercha b'shas kasa. Now, in the Chak, remember I mentioned this week that Reb Shimon bar Yochai, who gave us the Zohar is not for everyone. Although there's a book called Zohar for Dummies, but the Zohar is not for everyone. But the Klosenberger Rebbe said that the Zohars that were kleibed ice, that were picked by the Arizal in the Chak, those are for communal consumption. That's what he used to say. Ich make zogen as is in the Chak. So the Zohar says about Kas that when a person gets really angry and loses it, the neshama of the person leaves him. And something else comes in, something foul. It says that when a person is angry, you're not supposed to look at the person. When a person is angry, you're not supposed to look at an angry person. I remember that I said this in my shul maybe 45 years ago. I was a new Rav, and I was talking about how terrible anger is. So I said, Kol HaKoyes, Kol Mine Gehenim Sholten B'I. Whoever gets hangry will need all the treatments of hell. I said, today we know what treatments are. There's, in those days there wasn't even immunotherapy. But we know there's chemotherapy, there's immunotherapy, there's radiotherapy, there's heat therapy. And Gehenna has all kinds of therapies. Somebody that's angry is going to need all the therapies. Rav Miller used to say that Kas is the same letters as Eches. Ayin Chav Samach. And he said Eches, it's really a rare word, but the word Eches means poison. It's referred to in a pasuk in Tanakh as the venom of a snake, Tiyah Kasna. Eches is poison. Anger is poison. It's a poison for our body, it's a poison for high blood pressure and heart disease, all kinds of terrible things. And it's going to need all the treatments of Gehenna. And when a person finds themselves that they're getting, so here we say you don't reason with an angry person because his brain is in park. Who wants to be that way? You know who's that way? Pasuk tells us. Kas b'cheik ksil yanuach. A ksil has, cheik is the bosom. Now what do you keep here? You keep here maybe your glasses. In the olden days a checkbook. Now people don't use checkbooks, but you use a pen. You keep what you use often. The fool keeps in his pocket anger, because that's how he reacts. Every time he doesn't like something, that's a fool. Kas b'cheik ksil yanuach. None of us want to be a fool. But Reb Shimon Elazar is giving us practical advice. It's really practical advice. It has to be chazed over before it happens. Somebody is angry at you, and it's unjust. Don't reason with them when they're angry. It's a exercise that's a total waste. It's a total waste. We should be zaycha that we should be spared from anger. We should keep our nefesh. We should keep the shechina. And Hashem should grant us all kinds of shalom. Amen. I just want to tell the Olam that Shabbos is a parak shir at 6:15 for men and women. On the fifth parak, that's at 6:15. Please come and join us. Baruch Hashem, yes, last week we had like almost standing room only, so please come and join us. Also, we have now all 4 flaps of the Aron dedicated. We're looking just for one more major dedication on the top. If anybody is interested or knows somebody that might be interested, please let me know.